And I've got 6.
Okay, we are kind of hoping that Tim will join us, but, I think we can get started. Call this meeting to order.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any changes? Anyone have any changes? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the agenda, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, public comments. Do we have anyone who has public comments? All right, so we're gonna, what we're here for is the ballot question that came when I got my ballot in the mail. I read the question and it states that shall the town adopt the town of Royalton flood hazard regulations pursuant to 24 VSA 4424 as approved by the select board on August 27th, 2024. And on the first glance, that looks fine. But what happened was we had a challenge to the planning commission minutes and agenda that were that caused the planning commission to strike their actions for the meeting of August 8th and the meeting in September, which was no action had been taken because there was no quorum. So the this question that was presented to the select board came out of that meeting. And when I saw the date here, I said, well, that's something that we want to check into. So we asked the lawyer if that was going to be a problem with the vote. And based on the recommendation from the lawyer, they said it could be some, grounds for challenging the vote. And rather than causing that unknown to happen, I thought it was appropriate that we might want to remove this question from consideration from, rather than changing it so that we had even more confusion, just drop the question altogether and see what happens with, if we can get through the vote without causing more problems. Do you have the actual wording that the lawyer sent us, what her response was?
I do. Did you have a specific question about it?
No, I just wanted to read it. So I know we sent it in email, but I'd like to be read.
You want it read into the record? Is that what you're?
Well, I don't know if other people have seen these emails, so.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we,
Yeah, so the lawyer pretty much said what you said, Stuart, not in such a concise way. But that because the planning commission had to void their actions and that date of the select board August meeting is in the question, that the regulation could be declared void even after being adopted by the town because we're out of sequence. Or that the town wouldn't be able to enforce the regulations because they were out of sequence. Both of those scenarios would require someone to issue a legal challenge. But the recommendation of the lawyer is to avoid that situation entirely by withdrawing the question.
thank you. So, do we have any discussion on this matter that, you know, I see, the only action I see is to follow the lawyer's recommendation, but. Other people may have other ideas, so let's. Talk about that.
And I take it you contacted Francie.
Yes.
I see Tim's here, that's good.
You know, as much as it pains me, I think for me, the more worrisome scenario is that when you go to enforce it, then it's challenged. You know, if it was challenged directly after the vote, to me, that's not much different than a recall. But it's messy nonetheless. And again, it's not something that's a great outcome, but it is probably the right thing to do.
No, I agree. I would count it, but I wonder, can the select board just adopt an ordinance like they did the ATV one without a town vote, and then people petition the town to have a vote on it?
Yes, we talked about that, and we all kind of agreed that, or I thought we did, that we really wanted the townspeople to vote for it.
Well,
No, I agree the town should vote for it. I just wonder if that was an option if we wanted to.
well, it's always an option, and particularly if this vote is non-binding, what I'd like us to do is, you know, to issue that letter, or however that message was going to get out, that this is this is not a binding vote, that no action can be taken because of it, but encourage people, since they already have the ballot and it's going to be there, strongly encourage them to vote anyway. And, you know, we can use it as a straw poll after to do with as we wish.
Yeah.
You know, perhaps the results are really lopsided one way or the other, and we talk about that. You know, John, maybe it's clear that a vast majority of the town wants the ordinance, and then we can consider passing it, since we've already gotten input from the voters, not in a binding way. But I'd love for any announcement, letter, etc., to suggest that the select board strongly encourages people to still vote, even while making it crystal clear it's not a binding vote.
It sounds a little confusing to me, but I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, Stuart, I think half the voters aren't going to realize it's not binding. They're not going to know. So it's going to be on the ballot, and they're going to check a box one way or another anyway.
I think it would be
Who
simpler.
would do that?
There's no vote, or the question doesn't count. I mean, that's the simplest solution.
Oh, I
And the
agree.
question doesn't count, but we can still encourage people to vote, so we get there. It can be an informational vote.
Jojo has her hand up.
Yeah,
I'm not wondering, I don't know, can you actually do that? Claim it to now be a straw poll when it's on the ballot, rather than telling people we couldn't vote on this because of irregularities to the putting it towards the voters, and you should leave it blank.
You can't leave it blank. It's already printed. They're going to see it. It's been mailed out.
That's not what I meant.
Ballots.
What I meant was
leave
to
it on
put a
the-
message out for the voters to leave it blank because it was an irregularity that it shouldn't be voted on. I'm asking, can you actually change it to, oh, now it's a straw poll? That doesn't seem to fit. But maybe Carmen would know the answer to that.
Well,
You're muted, Carmen.
I think the simplest thing for us to do is just ignore the vote.
Yes, Carmen, go ahead.
You're muted, Carmen.
You're muted. There we go.
How's that now?
Yeah,
Now we
Yeah.
can hear
Okay, all right. So, I find myself agreeing with Joe. I'm just here to run the election. But I think it should be clear one way or the other.
Well, it's going to be clear that it doesn't count.
Uh,
But it would be
right.
great to get information out of it.
I think you're probably welcome to glean whatever you can from it, and I'm not suggesting either way. It was just my input.
How would we get it out that, how do we present the information to now the voters that it's on the ballot? How do we say, sorry, mistake? How do we do that?
Well, we
I
might
think
already have
Victoria
one.
has a nicely written letter already. That's-
Where does it go, though?
So, no, that would get posted on the website, on the bulletin boards in town, on the town's Facebook page, and through Front Porch Forum. Is kind of the big, like, this is the primary way we communicate that. I could put a legal in the paper also, but I don't know how many people actually would look there for that information. Or we
But
could do like a letter to the editor.
It's not gonna be in the polls. It's not gonna be at the polls.
Yes, it will be.
Oh, cause it'll be
Um,
it'll be a notice at the polls that this is not a real vote.
That's correct. And at that point, that's where we're never allowed as a Board of Civil Authority, and that includes the Select Board, we're never allowed to persuade or encourage anyone to vote in any direction. That's kind of our stepping off point. The minute you come into the gym, that's where we become kind of a
Crap.
we're moot on that. Our goal is to just allow people to vote and to assist them. So, I mean, you can do whatever you want leading up to that, I think. And whatever you decide to post, we'll post that day too, because people will want information, and they're allowed, if this is going out as a warning, then I think that would be appropriate. I've already touched base with the SOS too, because it's a fairly new procedure for us to piggyback our ballots on the general election ballot. I don't see any, I understand the situation. I'm pretty sure I understand the situation, and I would put whatever you wanted on the poster when people walk in.
But you could already have votes mailed in, right?
We do. Just so you know, we have a couple of thousand ballots out because everything was mass mailed. And we probably have I bet we have roughly a couple of hundred back already. And that might be a little high, but by Monday, by the time this all gets out, that would be a reasonable number. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think-
good ballot turnout already.
I think anything other than saying it doesn't count would look like we're trying to change the vote, and I don't think we don't want that appearance.
How does it look like we're trying to change the vote?
You're saying, oh, we get people who voted, we don't want to count their votes. That's what it looks like.
I think the
think-
simpler the better. When we put a notice out, it says this vote doesn't count. So due to a miss, whatever, it was a complicated issue, but we can as simply as possible state it.
Looks like Tim has his hand up physically.
And this has happened. This has happened to other towns. It's unfortunate. It's truly unfortunate, but it's not something that's an anomaly. So
Yeah, I mean-
I want to chime in one thing. If we say that it doesn't count and then we use it as a straw poll, then it counted. And I think that's a mixed message. That's all.
I think
My-
the note that Victoria's posted already is adequate. And we just ignore the vote when it comes in.
Yep, I wouldn't be allowed, we as the BCA, we wouldn't be allowed to announce those numbers at that point. That's all. I mean, they'd be there. They're there, but it's, like you said, it's not a binding vote, so.
But if we were to turn around and pass an ordinance without another vote, then it did count.
No, we should have another vote, a town meeting, another vote, done.
Right.
We'll do it again.
Yeah,
It'll
yes,
just take a little bit longer, that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be a
I-
second vote.
I agree.
Or should, is it possible that vote should be sooner than that? Patrick, do you have any?
I don't know. I think, I think at this point, we would, we'd probably want to ask the planning commission when they would like to do that.
Okay. Well, are the people who have their hands up have new questions, or are they just lingering?
I wouldn't have a special town meeting just for this vote. The expense, I'd just hold off until March.
Joe and Carmen, do you have more questions? Is that why your hands are up, or?
No,
Okay,
sorry, took it down.
Mine's supposed to be down, but I got lost in here. I dropped my cursor and now I'm not really, I can't see what I did. I can't see my hand is up. I can hear everybody, but I don't really know how to fix this.
you can only see half your face too.
You can see my face?
We see your nose.
Your nose mostly.
Oh. Well, you see that? I can't tell.
All right, I think we're ready to just accept a motion on this. Can someone make a motion about how we're gonna vote?
I make
I
a
feel like-
motion to follow the recommendations of our lawyer on this issue.
And a second?
I would add to that motion to have us,
It's got to be seconded before we can amend it.
okay.
Hey, I'm back. Whoa, I was. What happened there?
I'll second it.
Okay, so more discussion? What's the
Amendment, I would amend that we have another vote in March during the town meeting.
I don't want to set that right now, and I don't think it's appropriate to announce it in disclaiming this vote.
fair enough?
It muddles the issue.
So we didn't get any second on that amendment. So we'll take no action on the amendment. Any further discussion on the original motion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion as John presented it? Say aye.
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 Could you,
Can you call for a post?
Opposed.
Those opposed, the no vote.
Oh.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
could you repeat the original motion that John made?
That we follow the recommendation of our lawyer.
Thank you.
Nell, did you vote?
No, I didn't vote. I guess I was too slow in being like more discussion. I wanna know what is said in the, I wanna know what's said in the letter that, or the notice.
Yep,
Proposed letter that,
I'll kick it back to you now. It should be in your inbox, but I'll kick it back to you so it's on the top.
You're muted, no.
And so's your kid.
I agree with what John said. So I vote yes.
Thank you.
Did you vote, Tim?
Tim was
I vote
for it.
yes.
I got
Yeah.
it. It's just hard to keep track of sometimes,
Yeah.
the people in the room
Well,
and the people
especially
on the
with-
Zoom and who's
Especially
voting
with
what.
Zoom. So I'm gonna ask for any opposed, but there haven't, aside from the one abstain,
I got
I
you.
believe we have 4 yeas.
Mhm.
Any opposed? So hearing none, the motion passes to follow the recommendation of the lawyer. And Victoria has a letter that she just put out to the, did you send that to everybody or just to Nell?
I sent it to the select board a couple of days ago, but I'll resend it. Does the whole board want it again?
No, I already have it.
You did.
I've got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay, so that letter will be posted. And I guess the only other, the only other action is if we need to, offer more of an explanation to anyone who asks, or I guess it's not really an action for us, but, we should try to explain to people why it's not being voted.
You posted a letter. It's in the post office,
There's a legal deficiency in the process.
so I think that
Well,
was. pretty-
well said, Patrick.
Okay, is there anything else for this meeting? Any other?
Victoria, would you be able to also send that letter to me?
I will send it to you once I post it.
Thank
Won't be
you.
tonight, cause I also have kids. It'll be tomorrow.
Okay,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
say
Aye.
And hands.